The KTVA Sports Special. Today, local bowlers square off in the RC's Pro Shop Challenge. Plus, exciting motocross action from Kincaid Park, the Suzuki Arctic Cat Motorsports State Finals. Today's sports exclusive is brought to you by RC's Pro Shop at South 40 Bowl, by Suzuki Arctic Cat Motorsports in Wasilla, by Pepsi Cola, and by the Alaska Motorcycle Racing Association.
Ed Sims, we're at Kincaid Park with some exciting motocross action here today, including six-time national champion Bob Hanna's here, Ed.
Yes, Bob Hanna's the winningest racer in American motocross history, and no one like him has ever set foot out here at Kincaid Park.
Well, it's the final round of the Alaska State Championships, and we've got bowling for you, too. Stay tuned for more.
Now, it's easy to start enjoying Alaska on an ATV with zero-down financing from Suzuki Arctic Cat Motorsports in Wasilla. That's right, zero-down and quick, easy terms on the hot-selling Suzuki Quads. For general recreation and hunting, Suzuki Quad Runners. For racing or just to get your heart pounding, it's Suzuki Quad Racers. Suzuki Arctic Cat has a great selection of safe, fun ATVs for the entire family. Come on in for a test ride. Zero-down and easy terms at Suzuki Arctic Cat Motorsports, mile 4.5 Palmer-Wasilla Highway, Wasilla.
Welcome back to Kincaid Park. Kelly Thompson along with Ed Sims, and let's take a look at the track right now for today's action. Start out with the starting line there, Ed.
Short start straight, 180-degree first corner, leading to a whoop-infested straightaway.
And they've got the first jump. They'll get some height there, and then it's out to the infield.
And then they reach the mid-jump and fly up to the ridge.
From the ridge, it's out to the South 40, and then they work their way up to maybe the toughest part, the sand hill.
And back down the sand hill toward the ant hill.
And then it's the finish line. Our first race of the day, the 250 Expert. Let's take a look at the point leaders before we go into the race. Right now going in the point standings, first place is Andy Workman. He's a high school student at North Pole. Second place in the standings, Ralph Blanchard. He works for the municipality of Anchorage. And in fifth place going in is Joe Good. He had an injury earlier this season. That's why he's in fifth place right now in the point standings. And they're off. Our first race of the afternoon, and we go up to the first corner, and it gets pretty hairy right here, Ed.
Yep, and looks like nobody went down, and this is the 250 Experts here at Kincaid Park, and it looks like Pat Crabb, number 14 there on a Kawasaki, leading the way.
They go over the first jump, and it looks like we've got Kawasaki 1, 2, and 3 right now as we're underway here at Kincaid Park.
You're right. Wow, look at that. There's a little pushing and shoving going on here. They're all three teammates riding for Kawasaki of Anchorage. It's Pat Crabb in the lead, and Ralph Blanchard in second, and Jim McLean in third there.
Pat Crabb out to the early lead here.
And there's Bob Hanna in fifth place, already trying to work his way up. He kind of took a cautious outside turn there on the first corner and is now making up ground really quick. And there's Joe Good in fourth place there on a Suzuki riding for Arctic Cat, Suzuki Motorsports.
How's the track, Ed?
It's looking pretty rough. It had some rain yesterday. You can see the mud puddles, but it's going to be a dust-free day for the racers, which really helps.
Kawasaki, 3 riders on Kawasaki's out in 1, 2, and 3. Pat Crabb still in the lead right now, but Bob Hanna, you'll notice him in the yellow jacket right there. He's making his move up towards the leaders.
And Ralph took a wide line there trying to get around and trying to find a way around Pat Crabb in this first lap. He's not quite doing it. The man that's working his way up really quick there, Hanna, should be doing something up here because we're going to have the roughest part, the most technical difficulty track section coming up on the sand hill.
Here comes the sand hill right here as the riders head up it. And then it gets pretty tough going down it, right, Ed?
Yep. And it looks like Joe Good's trying to put a pass on Jim McLean, and wow, look at that. Late braking by Bob Hanna puts himself past those 2 riders.
Bob Hanna just passed 2 riders on the down portion of the sand hill, just like that.
And also we can notice Ralph Blanchard just moved up from second to first. Pat Crabb's in second. Bob Hanna's already in third place, and he has his sights on number 14 there, Pat Crabb. They're coming down off the sand hill. Now they're coming up toward the ant hill where the spectators are.
Wow, look at that jump. And he gets some height there.
They're really moving at a high clip. They're saving a lot of time by flying over the bumps. This is the roughest section of the track, the start-finish area. Hannah just passed second place.
So Hannah in second place behind Pat Crabb as the riders head through their second lap here at the course at Kincaid Park.
And that's Ralph Blanchard, number 57, still in the lead on the Kawasaki of Anchorage bike. Third place, right behind Bob Hannah, though, is Joe Good on the Suzuki. Joe's looking real smooth. He just broke his neck 5 weeks ago, and he's making a slow comeback here. But he doesn't look too slow out there on the track as we're on lap 2 here at Kincaid Park.
In the middle infield portion of the track right now.
There's our early leader. We can see Pat Crabb, number 14, starting to already get tired, falling back. But Ralph Blanchard's looking really good. He's not getting tired. He's starting to know the lines out there. Look at him go. Bob Hannah's right on him, though. Number 26 looking behind him. Sees Joe Good, number 10, right on him.
Ralph Blanchard works at the municipality of Anchorage. Number 57 out in the lead right now.
Ralph's currently second in the state championship points here behind Andy Workman from Fairbanks. Andy's further back in the pack with a bad start. We hope to see him move up toward the front. He does have a fairly secure lead in the state championships, though. And look at Hannah gain some ground on that rough section there. Blanchard knows he's behind him. Now, this is where Hannah passed all those riders earlier. This will be the roughest part of the track.
Bob Hannah, a 6-time national champion.
Hannah hails from Haley, Idaho. Travels all around the world doing this. He promotes. He works for U.S. Suzuki. And
there
he's
he goes.
Trying to make the pass. Will he make it? He sure did. Look at that. Very clean pass on the inside. Ralph's not letting off, though. He's staying right with him here.
New leader now, Bob Hannah. Ralph Blanchard falls back in second place, and it looks like Joe Good in third right now.
You know, we're coming up on the anthill. Ralph really got sprayed by some dirt with Hannah, and I'm sure that's going to set him back if he got any of his goggles.
Wow, look at the height on Hannah's jumps there.
Yeah, he definitely cleared most of the bumps on that one. And here's that really whoop-de-doo mogul-infested straightaway. Really takes the toll on the rider's arms and legs as the moto wears on.
A good look at the leader there, Bob Hannah.
And here comes Joe Good, already in third place. And Joe really looks smooth here. You got to realize he's coming back from an injury. He hasn't had much time on the bike. And for him to enter a high-caliber race like this during the state championships and stay up front is really amazing. Hannah looks so smooth out there on the bumps.
Really in control of his bike right now.
Now, Hannah also happens to be the oldest racer out there on the track right now. He's 32 years old. He's been doing this since he was a little kid, and he's got a lot of experience against these younger guys. Even though they may have a little more courage and guts, I think the experience may pay off in the long run here.
You were saying Hannah's won something like 70 national races in his lifetime.
That's right, Kelly. He's the winningest rider in American motocross history, and he's one of the all-time greats.
Incredible, Bob Hannah.
Oh, and Joe Good really makes a mistake there. Almost goes down trying to pass Ralph Blanchard. Joe Good is off the track and stalled his bike. He gets back going, and he doesn't lose a position. Really good bike control there by Joe Good, number 10. Joe made that mistake while he was trying to attempt passing Ralph Blanchard, number 57. A lot of times when you pass that in the rough sections, you're going to have to take a risk, and Joe did it. Now they're entering here up on their third lap up to the sandhill.
Oh, we got a rider down.
That's number 47, Trevor Haggard. He's the Yukon Provincial State Champion from Canada, trying to make a go of it against some of these Alaskan guys.
There's Bob Hannah, our leader right now.
Oh, and he is doing good. And here he comes up on the anthill. Look at the way he points that bike right down toward the downside of that ramp. Now, that takes a lot of bike handling skill. Know-how. Look at the bump. He missed a few of them back there. He sails over him. You can see him just barely clip the tops of them. Takes speed and endurance to do that. He's out there having a good time. Now, look at that. Joe's doing pretty good, too. He's upholding the Alaska honor here. He sees that green bike, Ralph Blanchard, ahead of him, and he wants him. Oh, Bob Hannah just passed the lap rider, which is fantastic considering he's going on his fourth lap. And there's number 57, Ralph Blanchard, in second place. Ralph looks like he's starting to get a little tired. The bike's starting to knock him around a bit. And in a state championship race like that, not even at the halfway point, you can't get tired.
How many total laps in this one?
This is an 8-lap race. which probably totals to about 16 minutes. And these riders are really going to be tired by the end of that lap because of the rough, rutted track.
There's Ralph Blanchard right there. Again, this is the 250 expert class.
Ralph's really getting tired. And I can see Joe Good in the back there already starting to gain ground on him. Joe's really in good shape. Even though he's been out for a while, he's in terrific physical shape, and he should make some difference here in the later stages of the race. They're coming down the hill here. I don't even see fourth place. So these guys are pulling out a big lead here. But Hanna, he's in the class all his own. He doesn't see anyone behind him at all. Look at that air he got on that the sand hill there. It's going down. It's very tricky in that deep sand. Very easily can you go off the track or crash. Now we're starting to see a dice here for second place as Joe Good starts reeling in. Look at that.
Rider.
Yep, stalled his bike and went off the track. Bob Hanna. Looks like he almost had time to talk to that spectator there and get back going.
Maybe he's just letting everybody catch up a little bit, make the race interesting, Ed.
Yeah, it sure looks like it. Hanna's having a good time here on the spectators. And this is a terrific view of the sandhill. You can see Cook Hill in the background. And there goes Hanna on that anthill again. Now this may not be as spectacular, but the way he takes these bumps is what makes a difference and why he's so far ahead. And to the uninitiated, these races look like it's pretty easy. You twist the throttle right on them, but the bumps make the biggest difference. You get so tired in a race like that, you can sweat, you can barely breathe. It's very, very physically tiring.
Good crowd on hand out here at Kincaid Park.
One of the best ones I've seen. I think Bob Hanna is drawing the spectators out. Oh, look at that, a pass. Joe Good just passed for second on the roughest part of the track.
Bob Hanna, our leader, and Ed Sims, he had a chance to talk with Bob Hanna.
Bob, what do you feel like doing today?
Well, I hope it goes like yesterday. You know, the track's a little better today, a little less rain, and everybody's riding good. Joe Good's riding real well, and hope to have a fun time.
Have you had any interesting experiences since you've been out here?
A little occurrence with a moose out here practicing last Thursday. I had a head-on, almost a head-on collision with one.
It probably won't be like that during the race. What do you feel about the track and the weather running it backwards today?
Oh, I think it'll be a good change. You know, you get bored after you run one a day. You know, and be a good change, and it's a good track, and there's no rain today. It should be a lot nicer. Yesterday, a little muddy.
With one lap to go, here's our current standings. Bob Hanna well out in front. Joe Good in second place. And in third place, it's Ralph Blanchard. And the guest rider, Bob Hanna, really going to it here, Ed.
Yeah, there he's lapping Trent Haggard, who we saw earlier, crashed on the track. These are some of the back markers Hanna's lapped already.
You can see why this guy's been a six-time national champ, Bob Hanna.
Yeah, he's definitely showing everybody what he can do out here. Now they're going through the infield cell, and here's a shot of third place, Ralph Blanchard, who did have a brief time where he did lead this race earlier.
Yeah, really, Bob Hanna started out slow. He came from the back of the pack and took the lead.
Yeah, Hanna's taking it real cautious out here. He doesn't want to mix it up and get hurt, so he's playing it really cautious. And he knows when he can pass safely and when he can't.
Up to the sand hill for the final time here in the 250 expert class.
And there's another lapped rider. Hanna just went right by him. That lapped rider happens to be Pat Crabb, who was the early starter who started the racing first. Hanna's making a couple mistakes now, but he can afford to. He's got a huge lead and plenty of time.
That's the spot where his bike stalled earlier in the race.
Yep, and there's Ralph Blanchard, 57, still going through the infield. He appears to be about half a lap down from Hanna now. This is a lapped rider Hanna's trying to get by.
Working his way to the finish line, Bob Hanna, our winner in a 250 expert class, Bob Hanna. Second place, he'll go to Joe Good. Third place, Ralph Blanchard. And fourth place goes to Andy Workman. And we'll be back with more of our KTVA Sports Special after this.
More of the KTVA Sports Special right after this.
Now it's easy to start enjoying Alaska on an ATV with zero-down financing from Suzuki Arctic Cat Motorsports in Wasilla.
On motocross action out at Kincaid Park, and here to let us know what's going on, Kelly Thompson and Ed Sims.
Thank you, Tom. Kelly Thompson along with Ed Sims ready to go for their second race of the day. It's the four-wheel expert class. Let's take a look at the standings as they stand right now going in. Point standings. In first place is Joe Shaw. He's a high school student out at Wasilla. Second place going in, Chuck Mariona. He's going to be on a Honda today. And in third place going in points, Gary Skaggs. He works at a gold mine out in Kenai. There goes Gary Skaggs. And look at that jump, Ed.
Whoa, I can't believe that. Passing in midair on a four-wheeler. He just got by Peary there, going over the whips. Gary Skaggs passes for third. Amazing pass.
Number 69, Gary Skaggs. He's on a Honda. He's a gold miner, works in Kenai.
Yeah, just past Milton Peary on the hardest part of the track for a four-wheeler.
Here's our standings now. Joe Shaw in first place. Chuck Mariana on a Honda in second place. Gary Skaggs in third place.
There's our leader.
Joe Shaw, just a high school student out at Wasilla.
And he's running 1 and 2 with his teammates. And look at that, they're still fighting. Oh, no, it's Gary Skaggs and Jerry Remington dicing in the battle for the third place position. Looks like Jerry Remington just stalled it.
Four-wheel expert class, and I'll tell you what, Ed Sims, it's a lot tougher to pass, isn't it, on these four-wheelers than it is on the other bikes?
You're sure right, Kelly. These things are twice as wide, and the bumps really take a toll on a four-wheel vehicle out here. But 1 and 2 is Hartley Motor teammates, Joe Shaw and Chuck Mariana. Gary Skaggs seen there in third, also on a Honda, riding from Peninsula Honda down in Kenai.
We're just about halfway through a race here in the four-wheel expert class.
There was fourth place battle there as Jerry Remington and Milton Peary, but here's the first place again, Joe Shaw. Heading toward the South 40 here as they prepare for the Sandhill.
Well, the four-wheelers, are they really taking to those bumps on the course at Kincaid Park here today?
They sure have. The third and fourth, fifth place guys have been, you can see right there, they're there dicing. They've had a lot of lead changes there, but first and second have been the same. It's been Shaw and Mariana the whole time from the start on.
Jerry Remington, I'm told, is in fourth place. Dustin Shepard in fifth place right now, but everybody's trading positions here, battling for first place.
Yeah, and all eyes are focused on first. These two guys are putting on a good show out here. In the deep sand, I don't see how these guys can ride these four-wheelers. It is really tough to control them.
There they go down the sandhill.
And as you saw on the motorcycles, there's a lot of passing that happens here. And the four-wheelers will use the sandhill to their advantage because it is the widest part of the track out here at Kincaid Park. Coming toward the anthill, it is Joe Shaw.
And a good jump by Shaw. He's got a little bit of a lead here to work with. That might be tough for some riders, isn't it, Ed?
It sure is. Look at it. It's Gary Skaggs trying to pass second place Chuck Mariana on the rough section of the track, but now Chuck says no way, and he cuts him off.
That's again a battle for second and third right there.
Yeah, we got three Hondas running 1, 2, and 3 out here. Gary Skaggs really had a battle there with some of the back markers, but he's working his way up. But Shaw looks really smooth and steady out here. And there we go again. Shaw's out in front. He doesn't know what's going on back here, but Gary Skaggs just passed for second. He's got Shaw probably in his mind right now. I think Chuck Mariana's not going to give up that easy, though.
Joe Shaw, our leader, but not by much. He can't afford to play conservative at all here.
No, but he does have one advantage. Being out front, he's not had to push himself as hard. Gary Skaggs has had to work his way and claw and fight most of the way. He's going to be pretty tired now in the later stages of the moto. It's going to start showing who's got the physical endurance. I think Shaw might come out with him.
Again, the track In pretty good shape, isn't it, Ed?
It's in great shape, but I don't know if I'd want to be on a four-wheeler out there with all those bumps. And you can see Skaggs here trying to pass on the... I cannot believe that. That is the worst part of the track pass, but he's not giving up. He's a competitor at heart. He's going to try. And we still see Mariana there in third place. It's starting to fall back a ways. Coming down the sand hill. Look at that little squirt of power there from Gary Skaggs. He's going to take the outside line. He's going to make it. No, it's just too far around to go that way. It might be faster, but it's not the quicker way.
How much miles per hour do you think they get going down that hill? That's probably about the fastest part on the track.
You're right, Kelly. It's by far the fastest part, but I doubt if they see 40 miles per hour the fastest down there. It's the track being so rough and tight the way it is. The speed is not very high. Coming up on the anthill, Joe Shaw still number one. Look at the air that Gary Skaggs get. He made that tremendous pass there earlier in the race. White lap.
Oh, look out.
I can't believe that. Over the handlebars. Gary Skaggs, his bike's still upright. He's starting it, it's stalled, and he's underway. He got passed by Chuck Mariana. It looks like he's still in third place. I don't think Joe Shaw saw any of that.
Incredible. Skaggs just got thrown right off the bike at all.
No, that's got to mess up your rhythm, but, you know, Skaggs is a good competitor. He's still going for it. He's not going to give up any spots. He still wants those guys. And this is the last lap, though.
Skaggs dropped from second to third on that fall. Chuck Mariana moved into second place. Everybody's trailing Joe Shaw right now.
That crash looked like it had to hurt, but he's just got to brush off the pain and get back on there because he's got people behind him that want his spot. He's still in third place. Sees Chuck Mariana, who he passed earlier. He might have in the back of his mind, I passed him once, I can pass him again. Joe Shaw looks like he's starting to take it a little bit easier. He doesn't want to make any mistakes and fall off or stall his machine because he wants that checkered flag and take first place.
Final lap of the race, the four-wheel expert class here at Kincaid Park.
And then here we got second and third, Mariana and Skaggs fighting for that runner-up position. Skaggs has got to be tired. I mean, making tremendous passes, hitting the bumps, taking the air like that, and then flying off his machine and getting back on. Somebody's going to have to tell Shaw what's going on behind him at this race because he looks like he's got it sewed up if nothing happens. But second place can be up for grabs here.
On the backside, there's Joe Shaw.
And there's the battle for second place, Mariana and Skaggs. Skaggs might be able to pull it out on the downhill. You saw him trying to take that wide line earlier, pass for first. Maybe it might work off when he tries to pass Mariana here because they're getting really close to the checker flag. Here they go. Is he going to do it? He does take the wide line. Look at the speed he got going in the corner.
Yeah, I think you're right out there, Ed. It's just too far.
Yeah, it's just too long of a distance to pass, but he's not giving up. And Shaw's coming in for the checkered flag. He's coming up to the anthill. That's the last obstacle.
A big lead for Joe Shaw.
Oh, he's happy. He knows he's got it. Look at that. Great race.
Checkered flag for our winner, Joe Shaw. Chuck Mariana finishes second, Gary Skaggs third, Jerry Remington in fourth, and Dustin Shepard in fifth. Ed Sims had a chance to talk with our winner, Joe Shaw.
Joe, I heard you had to ride another bike. How is that coming to play in your quest for the championship?
It was hard. I had to get used to another bike out on the track, and it handled a lot worse than mine did, but after the first moto, I got used to riding it.
And you just won and wrapped up the championship title in the four-wheel expert class. This is your first title. How's it feel to be the state champion?
Good. I don't know whether I want to try for it next year or not. It's hard. You have to be real consistent. Not so much fast, just consistent.
Back with more of the KTVA Sports Special and more exciting bowling action after this.
It's the place. Today's sports exclusive is brought to you by RC's Pro Shop at South 40 Bowl. By Suzuki Arctic Cat Motorsports in Wasilla. By Pepsi Cola. And by the Alaska Motorcycle Racing Association.
Final race getting set to go. Kelly Thompson and Ed Sims standing by at Kincaid Park.
Thank you, Tom. In our final race of the afternoon, the 125 expert class. And going in, here's the point leaders. Andy Workman is in first place. He's going in the points, number 1. Richard Cantola, he's in second place right now in the points. He's out of Fairbanks. And in third place, Joe Good. He's from Palmer. Here's a look at the Alaska State point champions of the races that we didn't have time for today. The 60 novice, Mark Henderson from Anchorage. 80 novice, John Fessler, he's from Fairbanks. In the 80 expert, Roger Lindstrom from Anchorage. 125 novice, it's Mike Osteen from Fairbanks. 250 novice, Troy Hicks from Anchorage. The 500 expert, Jim McLean from Anchorage. The veterans, Bruce Stingley from Anchorage. Old timers, Pat Poland from Eagle River. Four-wheel novice, Robert Simpson, he's from Anchorage. And the mini four-wheelers, Rene Romero from Wasilla. And we're off the final race of the afternoon, the 125 cc's, and there they go, Ed Sims.
125 experts, and it looks like, yes, number 8, Andy Workman out in the lead. Look at the bikes bounce around. Joe Good on the right, trying to go to the outside, pass for second. Oh, no, it's number 6, Rick Cantola sneaks by the inside for the lead.
Cantola on the Kawasaki, number 6, out in first place right here as we're just underway.
Yep, he's followed by Andy Workman on a Northern Power Sports Suzuki, number 8 right behind him. These two are both from Fairbanks. They're friends. They often travel to the races together. But out here, there are no friends. They're just competitors.
It's the final race of the afternoon, Ed. How do you think the track is holding up?
It's really rough out there, Kelly. These guys, if they can hang on, it'll be unbelievable. The bumps are really bad right now. And Joe Good, our 250 expert second placer, is in fourth place right now. Joe shines on the 125s. He likes that lightweight, and he's going to really put on a good showing here, I can see.
Rick Cantola.
There he is, number 6.
The early leader.
And right here, look at that. Lance Lemeve, just passed Andy Workman for second, and I think Joe Good got by him too. We're right, look at that. Andy Workman just went from second to fourth place in a blink of an eye. And Joe Good, look at, he's right behind Lance Lemeve. He wants that second place spot.
Look at
that. Feet off the pegs. Lance Lemeve trying to hang on, trying to maintain that second place, but he got passed by Joe Good and another rider. No, Lance squirts by. He holds on to that third place position. Now,
Good just dashed a second.
Yep, and Andy Workman is now in 5th place. Coming down the sandhill still, number 6, Rick Cantola. I think Andy might be taking it a little bit easier in this race, being the last race.
Cantola, as Ed mentioned, from Fairbanks on a Kawasaki.
Yeah, but he feels some heat there. There's Joe Good behind him. Like I said, Joe Good and Kincaid Park in a 125 just go together.
Wow, look at that height.
Some really good air time. Look at Joe, though. He's getting down. Low wind resistance, hitting the bumps fast. He's making some good time there. They've already stretched out a lead from 3rd place. And he's looking good. He just doesn't look as smooth, though, as Joe Good. Joe Good is out there just slicing through the pack. Now, here we see the battle for, I believe, 3rd place. That's Lance Lemeve, number 18. And he's followed right behind Andy Workman, who was in the lead at the beginning of the race. We're in the infield section of the track. It is very rough. You can see a mud splash there by Joe Good in his pursuit.
Cantola handles those bumps real well, doesn't he?
He does pretty good. I can see him making a few mistakes out there. He's starting to get tired. You'll see Joe Good. He gets faster in the later stages of the races, and that's what his conditioning really pays off. He swims in the off time, and he's in good shape.
There's a good look at Joe Good.
Oh, and Cantola makes a big mistake there, going off the line, taking a wide section there. It's a good shot of Andy Workman, number 8. He lost some big time there. This is where Joe Good had passed Lance Lameve last lap. And look at that, a couple mistakes there really put some time.
Gaining ground on first place, Joe Good. There he goes.
Oh, he's good at it. Stuffed him on the inside. Excellent pass, Joe Good.
Joe Good on the Suzuki out of Palmer.
You can see the 125s are struggling to get up the sandhill. That low power really gets to him. But look at Rick Cantola staying with him. He's not giving up. Takes the inside line on Joe. Can he do it?
Ooh, oh, man, almost a collision there between first and second place.
It looked like they almost hit there, Kelly, and it pushed Joe Good off the line, but amazingly, neither competitor went down.
Joe Good still the leader.
This is the 125 experts. You can see the skill level they have. Crashes are pretty far and in between here in the expert classes. The experience they have really shows. I saw a hint of Suzuki Yellow there in third place, and we're right. Andy Workman did work his way back up from 50. Is now in third place, challenging second place.
Andy Workman, the North Pole High School student.
Now Joe Good's got that first place. He has no one in front to try to pass or pace himself, so he's going to try to pull out a big lead, give himself some breathing room here. Joe Good hails from Palmer, and he's got 2 hot Fairbanks riders on his tail.
He looks well in control right now.
Oh, Joe Good always looks in control. His smooth style, you can pick him from a mile away. Joe was born and raised here in Kincaid Park, and he knows every bump in his sleep.
Great air time there.
Yep, and you can also see second and third place doing the same thing as they try to work themselves around the track. And they're still trying to get first place. They're never trying to cruise. They're competitors, they're racers.
There's Andy Workman right there, number 8.
He's gaining a little ground there on number 6, Rick Cantola. And we're starting to enter the midpoint of the race. People start to get real tired. We'll start seeing a little changing in position possibly here. And that's the spot right there, section of the track, the back 40, where Joe Good passed a rider each lap to put himself in the lead. Just an excellent backside view of the riders going up on the sandhill. Like I said, you'll see this deep sand sap the power from the 125s.
Down the sandhill, you got to be careful there. You can't get too much speed going down. You just lose control.
You're right. You'll just keep going straight, and you'll end up in Kincaid Pond there. It's happened many a time before, but these are the expert racers, and they're not going to make mistakes like that, we hope. Joe Good's in definite control out here. Great weather, perfect racing conditions other than the big bumps. Look at that. I think Joe Good's been watching Bob Hanna out here racing a little bit. He's showing a little Hanna style off that anthill. Second and third, Andy Workman still number 8.
Andy Workman's pressing for second place, though, right now.
He is. He's got a Suzuki just like Joe Good. Joe Good's riding for Suzuki Arctic Cat Motorsports out in Palmer. Happens to be his sponsor, his employer, and his dad. Doesn't look like Workman can quite get up the speed or close that distance on second place. Good doesn't look like he's going any slower than the first lap. Really consistent rider, very smooth.
He's really putting some distance between him and second and third place right now.
Second and third place, even though they're in a struggle and a duel for racing. Oh, and here comes Joe Good passing Dave Cook here, a lapped rider. Dave, good sportsman, moves over. He knows he's being lapped. And oftentimes, lapped riders can make a difference in a race when you can't get by them. They don't know who you are. But these are the experts, and they can hear a faster bike coming up on them. You know, Cantola and Workman are going a little bit slower than they were earlier in the race. They are getting tired.
Well, Joe Good, he had an injury, Ed, and he's recovering from. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Joe had a really bad accident that saw him break 2 of his cervical vertebrae up in Fairbanks at a state championship race. The only problem is it was in practice of the race, and this is one of his first major outings from that accident.
Ed Sims had a chance to talk with Joe about his recovery.
Joe, you had an injury during the third round in Fairbanks, but now you're back. This is your first race of the state championship series since that injury. How's it been coming back from that?
Well, it's been pretty good, really. I kind of expected to come back a little slower. The first weekend I raced last weekend, it was kind of tough, but I've practiced quite a bit, and actually I feel about now like I did before I was injured. So.
How about the physical stamina part of it? I don't know if you've been working out or keeping in shape as far as that goes. Do you feel you're up to the rest of the competitors in that aspect?
Yeah, I didn't feel like I really lost anything there. I did a lot of exercises to keep myself in shape and did a lot of swimming while I was down. And yeah, I feel pretty good right now. I don't feel like I'm giving anything away in the, as far as being able to hold up for the whole race.
We're back with the 125 expert class, and here's our current standings. Joe Good still in first place, but Andy Workman has moved into second place, and Rick Cantola at the present time in third place in the 125 expert. And we were talking a little bit earlier where our first race was the 250 expert. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the differences between 250 and 125 that we have here?
Yeah, the 125s are a lot lighter, but way down on power. They're only half the displacement. They're 125 cc's. The 250s are bigger and stronger, but on the bumps like this, oftentimes the 125 can be better because of the lightweight. Oh, and we see Joe Good have his foot come off the peg on some of the rough sections.
Basically, the speed's about the same, too, isn't it, on the 125 or 250?
Yeah, the overall speed's about the same, you'll see, but oftentimes when you get in a mistake, a 250 will have the power to get you right back up on course, whereas a 125, the momentum takes a little bit longer to get going again. But you can see Joe Good, his foot peg came off on that whip section, but he didn't lose any speed. He kept going. You'll see other competitors slow down and try to regain their composure.
There's the second place rider right now, Andy Workman.
Andy Workman now is in second. He had a really long race there with who is now third place, Rick Cantola. I don't think he even sees Joe get ahead of him, though. Joe's got such a terrific lead out here.
Basically just three riders as we come down to the finish, Good, Workman, and Cantola.
And actually, Kelly, that's the way it's been all season long. These three riders have been running neck and neck, trading places. But Kincaid Park is Joe's home, and he's showing his fans and his parents, his sponsors, why they picked him to be a #1 rider out here.
You're telling us, Ed, that he started at a very young age on the bikes out here at Kincaid, huh?
He has. Yeah, he started out in the small 80s, worked his way up. Now he's racing 125s and 250s, but Joe loves the 125s. He shines on them, and he's doing that right out here. You can see Cantola is really getting tired. He's just barely hanging on. He's trying to get second place and not let Cantola repass.
There's Cantola right there, number 6 on the Kawasaki. Cantola from Fairbanks.
He looks a little tired, too. Joe Good's smooth style. Look at that. Now, I can't believe that. Joe Good in the later stages of the races shows the same form he had in the beginning. Amazing shape. This guy is just, stamina is unbelievable. The anthill, look at
the height on Joe Good. And the checkered flag for Joe Good, first place. Andy Workman finishes second. Rick Cantola finishes third. And with his second place finish, Andy Workman is this year's state champion. Andy Workman, this year's state champion in the 125 expert. Ed Sims talked with Mr. Workman.
Andy, the track got really rough and rutted, especially in the sandy areas near the later stages of the race. How did that affect your riding?
Well, I don't know. It's a lot rougher than the tracks we have up there. It's I don't know, you have to hold it on and go for it through the rough sections. I was all over on my 250, losing control.
Do you think that being from Fairbanks and riding on a track different than your home area, does that make a difference in your riding?
Yeah, a little bit, but it didn't show too much when Joe came up there. He was walking away just as bad as he was down here.
In your mind, you had the state championship by a pretty far margin, so basically it seemed like you were taking it easy. Were you really trying out there, or were you trying to make sure that you won the championship?
Well, yesterday I was kind of relaxed and making sure I got all my points. Today I was going to go for it. I had a few bad starts. I had one bad start. My 125, it gurgles once in a while. I didn't have the best day.
Well, that's going to do it from Kincaid Park. It's been an exciting year of racing. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't go away. The championship match in the RC's Challenge is coming up next as the KTVA Sports Special continues. For Ed Sims, this is Kelly Thompson. So long from Kincaid Park.
Now it's easy to start enjoying Alaska on an ATV.